Not an attempt to get attention, but I cut my ear shaving, so there's that. I wanted to talk today about something that I thought was kind of funny. If you're watching a lot of the YouTube stuff and you're trying to get this fatness under control, and you've been seeing my other videos, one of the things that you notice if you're interested in trying to take care of yourself and all the videos and your content that you're seeing with on the online channels, everything is not reflective of that. It all starts to talk about that. So if you start to maybe look into protein consumption, then you're going to start seeing a lot of videos on it. One of the big things people talk about is how to lose weight without losing any muscle when you're either caloric restricted or fasting. When I was dropping all that fat, a big concern of mine was losing muscle. And looking back, I think that was something that slowed my progress because of those concerns. When you are working out, from what I've found, when you're working out, that shouldn't have to be a concern because you have the muscles active and the body isn't going to cannibalize the muscle that you need, that you work with on a daily basis. It's not going to cannibalize that when you are not eating or changing your diet, from what I've studied and what I've seen. But even if it does, the thought process was it shouldn't matter because here I am at 365 pounds with a 65-inch waist, high blood pressure, everything, blood super thick, and very high triglyceride count. All of the markers that are, here we go. Any day you're going to have one Snickers bar too many, one Kit Kat too many, one See's candy too many, or Ben and Jerry's ice cream, or whatever it may have been, too many. Once that happens, then I'm down that road forever. That was a big concern. But the bigger concern was, oh my gosh, I don't want to lose muscle. So I didn't bother. There's so much misinformation I seem to find. And whether it does or doesn't, I've settled on the fact because I've seen and I've read some things. And while I'm not a doctor and you need to get your doctor's advice, I do believe that it was no muscle loss at all. And because back then, also, this was couple years ago, 3 years ago, I also had my blood work done and discovered that I also had low testosterone, so I started using that as well, and I've been doing that since. So that's content for another show. But if you're sitting there and one of these reasons why you don't want to progress or try to, besides failing, because I failed. I was a fat kid, fat teenager, fat young adult, fat older adult, fat past my prime adult, whatever it is, but then I got it together. One of the things that I will tell you that's super important, I'm going to harp on this on everything that I update with, that I found is you have to have those people with you that support you in that regard, if that's what you want your lifestyle to become. If you're alone, well, you have a fresh outlook, you don't have any influence from outside parties, great. It's simpler that way. But if you are going to team up with people or let people into your lives, something that's super important is to find those people that have similar desires and that can support you when you're wanting to not eat for a week, or when you're wanting to do a dry fast for a couple of days, or when you cut your ear, they're concerned, those sorts of things. But you want to have those people in your periphery so you're able to continue your process. And as I talked about before, forgiving yourself if you do happen to mess it up and getting right back on track. Do not let this continue. Do not let that autopilot eating continue. Do not let your past habits continue. You got to stop it. Once you slip, because you will, you have in the past, now I want you to be aware. Once you slip, acknowledge it. You just effed up. It's time to move on. Forgive yourself and move on. Get right back on track. If you have to scoop out the bite of cheeseburger as you realize what you're doing, or Cheeseburgers are okay without the bread. But there's a whole other thing there. Climb down that rabbit hole. But if you're going to go eat the candy or the bread or the pizza, I think we can all agree that those are probably not great things for you. If you're going to do it and that happens and you've given in, you've broken your rule, you've sabotaged your future progress, stop, acknowledge it, forgive yourself, and just continue. Don't wake up 3 weeks from that moment having been in this downward spiral the entire time, overfeeding multiple times per day, back to the same habit, or drinking, or insert drug of choice here, or bad habit here. Don't wake up later and realize that time has now passed you by yet again. Make it different. And I believe with me, it was that forgiving mechanism that really made it different. I hope this one helps, and let me know what you think. We'll talk to you soon.